Good morning, welcome to CATEX TV. My name is Frank Fortunato. Today is Monday, February 10th, 2014. Well, if you've been watching the Olympics, you know that there has been no explosions, no terror attacks or anything such like that. In fact, the Olympics have been very tranquil so far. President Putin has appeared at many of the events, dressed very casually, surrounded by security guards, applauding politely and beaming, actually. He seems to be very pleased so far. Meanwhile, yesterday in Washington, D.C., the chairman of the House Intelligence Committee on Homeland Security, actually, in an interview with Fox TV, said that there was a high probability of an explosion during the Sochi Olympics game. This would be Representative Mike McCall. He said the explosion or bomb of some type would most likely go off during the Olympics in Russia, although he suggested that it would happen outside the Olympic Village itself. He said, I think most likely it's going to happen outside the Ring of Steel at the Olympic Village. He said, I hope I'm wrong in this assessment, but you're talking about an area of the world where suicide bombers go off all the time. Fact is, right now in the eyes of the world upon these Olympics, the Chechen extremists know this. They want to make a global statement. They want to make a jihad statement, and what better time to do this than right now? Remember, they don't have to hit at the Ring of Steel at the Olympic Village. As long as they hit somewhere in Russia, that to them is a victory. Meanwhile, the insurance community, taking in everything Chairman McCall has said, is making some big money off the Olympics. Ensuring the Olympic Games against a catastrophe has become lucrative for a select group of the world's largest insurance and reinsurance companies, as more event organizers and sponsors seek financial protection against a potential lost income resulting from a event that cancels the Olympics or part of the Olympics. The financial stakes for global giants such as Munich Re and Swiss Re have become correspondingly larger, and thus far the profits have increased. One of the biggest customers for insurance is the International Olympic Committee itself, which has $500 million US in coverage for the Olympic Winter Games spread amongst various insurers. Swiss Re apparently has a 100 million stake of that. Munich Re has a 300 million stake of that. There has never been a cancellation of an Olympic event. So the amount of money that can be made, considering that the rate online is in the high single digits, maybe 8 or 9%, so $9 million for a 100 million coverage, that's pretty good. Meanwhile, they of course have looked at the terror prospects of the Sochi Games. The two reinsurers say they've gained valuable experience in assessing the potential danger from the Summer Games in London, where there were warnings of waves of terror attacks. So far, both Munich and Swiss Re are confident that event organizers in Sochi are doing a good job in controlling threats, in part because of the enormous pressure Russia feels to defend its reputation in the eyes of the world. According to a spokesman from Munich Re, the more worried they are, the more likely they are to get things right. Of course, correspondingly, that the reinsurers won't have to pay a claim. Meanwhile, Lloyd's insurer Amlin said this week that they're going to do an in-depth research project into catastrophe models aimed at assessing the dangers of over-reliance on risk modeling. This is according to the Financial Times. The project is an important step in ensuring that our reliance on the increasing amalgamation of models does not prove catastrophic for the insurance industry. The FT quoted Amlin's chief underwriting officer Simon Beale as saying, it was about 1 year ago right now that Tom Bolt of Lloyd's spoke at a CATEX reception in London and warned Lloyd's insurers not to over-rely on CAT modeling. CNA Insurance in Chicago plans to sell a wholly owned life insurance subsidiary to Wilton Re Holdings for about $615 million, as CNA continues to focus more on its property and casualty business. Port officials in Savannah, Georgia say that a blaze tore through a warehouse and sent plumes of black smoke into the sky has finally been contained. The huge warehouse fire was fueled by about 5,600 tons of rubber. It produced a plume of black smoke that towered over the idyllic Georgia port all weekend. The Savannah Fire and Emergency people said that firefighters worked overnight Saturday to prevent flare-ups and extinguish larger fires inside the 250,000 square foot warehouse at the ocean terminal. About 1,000 tons of the crude rubber actually were burned up in the fire. The Environmental Protection Agency says air tests near the scene are well below health-based standards. It's wildfire season in Australia. This is very dry and it's high summer there. It's hard to keep that in mind when it's freezing here. However, wildfires have destroyed about 20 homes in Australia's Victoria state, and what officials say are the worst fire conditions since 2009, when infernos killed 173 Australians. The fires are threatening the country's second largest city of Melbourne today. Fire commissioners said they were ferocious fires, they ran hard, they hit homes. The emergency comes just about 5 years to the day after the infamous Black Saturday that devastated the state and killed 173 people. Right now, 4 blazes remain at emergency level, including a front that the firefighters have dug about 24 miles away from the main downtown of Melbourne. Fire crews have so far saved about 550 properties from an intense blaze in the Melbourne suburbs. However, everybody is on high alert there. That's the news for today. If we have any breaking news, we'll come back and tell you. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow.